now. There's been a lot of a lot of trials and tribulations, and sometimes I go to my husband, I'm like, what the fuck, like, why are people such haters? And they don't come until they see the success. I had Citibank reach out to me and say, Brenda, you're so successful because of this. No, you didn't see how long it took me to get here. Like, you don't understand how long that took me. So when we hit that 2 mil with Steven on that reel, piece of cake, walk in the park. I don't even, I'm like, good. It's like easy, right? Like, good publicity, bad publicity, give it to me, because you're going to drive my page up, and thank you. It's like a Cardi B moment. Like, for all the you talk BS, thank you, because now you're feeding me. So keep it coming. Let's get to 5 mil, you know? But yeah, it's true. The behind the scenes, okay, what am I going to do for my team? Like, I need to keep them motivated. I need to get them encouraged. Where am I going to do this? And then everybody just keeps striving you to like not succeed. And to be honest, there's stuff that has happened with this business that I've been like, what the F? Like, you just gave me fuel. You don't understand what you've ignited now, because now I'm going to shut you down. And I'm going to show you, not by saying, not by speaking, not by defending myself, but by my actions. And later, when you see my freaking face on that billboard, you're going to remember that you tried to take me down. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. You know?
Good for you. Good job.
So awesome. I feel like there was a quote that I read a long time ago. It's one of the bold laws from Keller Williams. And I love, if you guys haven't researched it, but I would love for every single one of you on the call, go Google Keller Williams bold laws. And there's some of the best phrases I've ever heard in my life. And one of them that they said was, what you focus on expands. So like Brenda, I heard you saying a moment ago, like you didn't choose to focus on like how bad the bad was. You chose to find the good in the bad. And because you found the good in the bad, you were like, the good expanded, and it actually fueled you, and it didn't break you down. And I think that's so important. And the second thing that I like about the second bold law that I like, it says, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at begin to change. And I thought that was just like so powerful, because if all of us look at something a certain way, I mean, life happens to every one of us. I promise you, 100% of us on this call, everyone's currently going through something. And if you're not going through something, you probably just came out of it. And if you didn't come out of it, you're not going through it, I promise you, right around the corner, something's waiting for you. It's just how life works. But it's also how we look at things and the meaning we give behind it. So when we change the way we look at things, the things you look at begin to change. So I want to encourage all of you, team. Like, you have some of the biggest producers and influencers on this call, and they're all telling you the same thing. Like, yeah, bad shit's going to happen. It's going to suck. It's going to hurt. But how are you going to respond when it happens? Are you going to sit there defeated and look at the bad? Or are you going to choose to focus on the good stuff and let that stuff expand and change the meaning behind it? And I just think that's so powerful. So thanks for sharing that, Brenda. Really awesome stuff.
Love it. I have something to add. It's a little bit a little off topic, but on topic. I think we are all of us here, we are all on Instagram. We all get business from Instagram or, social media overall. And I want to tell you guys about a conversation that I had yesterday with an agent here in the Winner Circle. I'm not going to say who, but when I spoke with her yesterday, I felt the conversation was different, but it resonated a lot. And I feel like this is something that maybe a lot of agents go through. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And I'm sure she doesn't mind, but again, I'm not going to say who she is. And she talked to me and she's like, Monica, I've really connected with my daughter this year. I've taken a step back from working, and I really connected with my family, my husband. She's like, I've been doing this, that, working out. My daughter's going off to college now. And I feel bad because I didn't give her that time in the past. I wasn't able to give her that in the past. However, my production is not good. My production is at its worst. I've had amazing production in the past, and but I didn't get to see my family. My family was basically falling apart. I didn't have a relationship with my daughter. I didn't have my everything was like literally falling apart. So she's like, I want to have a balance. I want to be able to do both. I have another daughter now who's younger, and like, I don't want to put her through what I put my daughter that's in college with. Now I'm trying to make up for time with my daughter, and she's already off to college. So she's like, I feel bad. I feel like, maybe I wasn't a good enough mother. And what I want you guys to take from being a part of this group is that I feel like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this whole social media attraction is something that takes time, but it works. It works to the point where I spoke to another agent yesterday, went from 0 deals to like, hey, I'm going to be consistent. Went from a brand new agent. She was my part-time marketing assistant, and which is Vanessa. You guys all know Vanessa. She was working hourly. She was making less than $2,000 a month with me, and she was happy with that. She was like, "Hey, I'm good. I can pay my bills. Like, I'm good." I was like, "Girl, you have too much energy and like too much like inside of you to be working like this." I said, "I'm gonna let you go." She closed 1 deal. She made like, I don't know, maybe like $6,000. I said, "Hey, this is gonna put you through the next three months. You're not going to be my assistant anymore. And I'm not going to give you a paycheck anymore. You're going to go out there and you're going to do it." And she's like, "Wait, but," and I was like, "No, you can get a deal in 3 months. I believe in you. I know you can." So at that moment, she was like, shit, like, okay, I'm no longer getting a check. I'm not comfortable. And that's when she started grinding it out. And she was consistent every day on TikTok. Every day, just talking to her audience. Every day she was posting on TikTok, posting. The key was that she was consistent. She was a brand new freaking agent. She had 0 sales, like 0, nothing, brand new agent. But what she has created for herself, I just talked to her. I don't know if you guys knew, but she went on vacation for a month. And she's like, "To be honest, I didn't really work. I opened up 3 escrows, which is the lowest that I've done in this whole time that I've been working. Well, since she's been consistent." She's like, "But I needed it. I needed a break. I had a great time." And she said, yesterday she sent us a message, and she goes, "I just want to tell you, team, that I am amazing. That's all. I just want you to know that I'm amazing." So we're like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just spent 4 hours following up with all of my clients, working on clients, She's like, "And I have 4 appointments, four people getting pre-approved now. And I opened up 3 escrows today and blah, blah, blah." So, she's like excited. But my point is that she was able to come back to her systems, to her pages, to her Instagram, and just pick right back up where she left off. Sometimes, unfortunately, when we are doing business other ways, like, you have to stay in that grind of like door knocking, cold calling, being in the office, not giving time to your family. And it sucks because you can't do both, right? And I feel like us, where we're more social media based, yeah, I'm not saying we don't spend a lot of time on our business. We probably spend even more time on our business because we're up late. We're opening emails and messages super late. We're doing things a little bit different and unconventionally, but we're able to give time to our family. We're able to be in the moment with things that are really important to us. We're able to, take the kids to school, or just put our families first and then work everything else around it, work our clients around it. That's why our days are maybe a little bit longer, but we are able to also leverage that. Even when we're on vacation, we're able to close 3 deals without even having to be there. So what I say all this to say, you guys might be starting off a little bit slow, and you guys might feel like, "Oh, this isn't working. It's slow, blah, blah, blah." But as long as you guys are consistent, literally consistency is key. As long as you guys are consistent, you can create a lifestyle in the long run for you where everything is just going to flow when you're ready for it to flow. When you want to turn that switch on, it can turn on. And when you want to turn it off because you want to, spend time with your family, you guys can turn it off. And this is all because of social media. And we are the social media gods on here. So, you guys like really learn. And it's not, you guys don't have to be an actor. You don't have to be a rapper. I mean, Steve, you're amazing, but I'm not, I'm not a rapper and I'm not an actress, but I try to stay consistent. I'm actually to the point where even if I don't post for a few days, I know that hey, I can get back on it because I already have the growth. I already have X amount of people. Even if my Instagram doesn't grow for the next 10 years, I mean, 50,000 people, I can probably recycle that every year and get new clients from that alone, right? So I'm like, cool, I'm good. Do I want more? Absolutely, I want more. But do I have to go out and door knock and cold call every single day? No, I don't need to do that. I already have what I have. Thank God I have what I have. So put in the grind in the beginning. Absolutely. I put in the grind in the beginning. My first year, if you're a brand new agent, you better be cold calling, you better be door knocking, you better be hosting open houses, because that's what's going to get you the content for what you need. That's what's going to get you the content for social media. It's going to get you closings. It's going to get you all of that stuff. But the key is stay consistent so that you can always leverage your social media. So when I was talking to this other agent, I felt like, damn, you know what? We haven't really taught our agents the importance of staying consistent and staying on top of your channels, whichever one it is that you want to master in, whether it's one or all of them. We need to really train you guys and teach you guys to stay consistent, have some accountability, because ultimately that's going to be the machine that runs your business. It's so, so, so important. So I don't know if you guys want to touch on that or have questions about social media.
That was so good. You said so many good things right there. I'll just say one thing. I'll just say one thing to all of you. One of my pastors at church said this. They said, you can't plant and harvest in the same season. So I want you guys to think about this. You have a crop, you're trying to grow whatever it is, apples or whatever crop you want to grow, corn. You can't plant the seed and harvest it in the same season. There's going to be a season in your business that all you're doing is planting seeds, turning the soil, watering the garden, letting the sun hit, letting it go to rest at night, spraying your pesticides if you want, whatever it might be. But the point is, there's a season for that. And they're actually, the bigger the plant, the bigger the tree, the deeper the root must go before it breaks surface on the ground. So I don't want you guys to look at all of these social media posts like nothing's happening. You got to take a look at these social media posts like a seed in the ground, a seed in the ground, a seed in the ground. And that seed might be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know however long it's going to take for that fruit to develop and for that vegetable to grow and that tree to develop. But just know those seeds that are being planted, those roots are strengthening. And just like construction, we'll just use a real estate analogy. Like construction, if you want to build a tower that's 60 feet high, you first have to build a foundation that's 30 feet deep. Let me say that one more time for you. If you want a 60-foot high skyscraper, you have to have a 30-foot deep foundation. How deep is your foundation? How deep are you going in your business? How long are you willing to stay in the trenches before you get any results? That's the difficult part right there. Everyone wants to plant one seed and they're waiting tomorrow and it doesn't sprout, it doesn't harvest, and they get frustrated and throw it away. They knock on one door, it doesn't work, and they walk away. They make one phone call and it doesn't work. You got to stay in the trenches. Your head has to be down. You can't look to the left. You can't look to the right. You can't look if another garden is greener. You can't see if another harvest is bigger. That's one of the worst things that you can do as a new agent is look across the fence and say, oh, look what that team's doing. Oh, look what that realtor's doing. They're having more fun over here. They're connecting over there. It's the worst thing that you can do. No, the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you plant, where you harvest, and where you give love and attention to your garden. So if your garden isn't growing, it's because you aren't being the shepherd, the steward of that building, of that plant that was given to you in your fingertips. I promise you, you have the most powerful leaders here with you right now. Lean into them. Listen to what they're telling you. The path that you're going on, it's not by yourself. It's been done before us. It's been done before you. It's just part of the process. You're going to plant in one season and you're going to harvest in the next.
Oh my God. I was praising, man. I was like, that is preach, Gabe, preach.
Yeah.
I wrote tons of notes. I don't even know which one to start off on. I mean, I don't even want to like talk.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
My new song, Plant Your Seed, is dropping soon.
And you know what, Jose, like Jose is a huge inspiration too, because when he first joined the winner circle, he had, I don't remember if you said you had 3,000 or 6,000 followers when you did 30 million in production. Was it 3 or 6?
That was about 35, 4,000. It was like around the 3 mark.
Okay, so Jose had 3,500 followers and did 30 million in production in 1 year off of his social media. What would you say, like 90%, 100%, or
No, it was about 90%. Yeah.
90% of the business was all from social media? 3,500 followers. And what I learned from him, I was like, how the heck did you do that? What I learned is that every single person who follows him, who starts to follow him, he sends them a message. Simple as that. You guys all have 500 followers. Some of you guys have 1,000. Some of you guys have 5. Like, you guys can literally message every single person that follows you. And he said that, I mean, I don't know, you want to touch on that maybe a little bit?
Well, I mean, if someone's I just asked myself, if someone's following your page, what is it for? Do you have your profile set up appropriately that when someone goes in, they know what you do for a living? There's results on there. And then I'm like, okay, if you're following me, it's got to be real estate. I don't have friends. Well, I mean, I don't build friendships. So I just sent him a message and I'm like, identify the opportunity or follow. And then I made sure that the message consisted of the real estate part, but then also something more warm, because I thought to myself, people aren't going to buy as soon as they follow you, but you have to be able to cultivate the relationship so that when they do decide to buy or sell, you're the person they think about. So I always made sure that my social media consisted of real estate, but more personal stuff where they had information, they had just cool content to look at, you know, and that's why I started developing myself. And that was a post that I did since 2018 was self-development. And I didn't steer away from that. Even now, I still talk about the mindset, because that is one other thing that nobody talks about is with business and in real estate and everything else. This is what's got to get, you know, taken care of the most. The template.
Jose, are you sending that personally, or do you have a VA, or is there an app, or you do it yourself?
Yeah, personally. I don't get tons and tons of followers. I think at my peak when like engagement was high, I was boosting like crazy. I'd probably get like 50 at the most. And this was like the craziest day. So I would just take my time and literally copy a message. And now I can just put a keyword and it'll populate everything, but I still type in their full name so that it's more personal to them. And it's not like an automated message. Because when I get an automated message, I'm like, yeah, it's AI robot. But when you get a to your name, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's personalized to me, you know? So that was what just kind of, that changed everything, because from there, when they followed, I waited a little bit, either at a specific time of the day, I messaged everybody that followed me, or again, within 2 minutes. So it was more like organic instead of an immediate response. And I would get a response like 80% of the time. I am actually looking to buy, hey, in the future or whatever. So then from there, you know, when I did the 30, it was 31.2, I think, or 32 million. That's what I started doing at that time is the DMs. Nobody was doing that kind of engagement. So I got a ton of responses. And from there, I got a lot of people that were like, hey, I want to know about the buying process. So I came up with an intake form that I started sharing of just the requirements. Fill this in and I'll send you the requirements. And even to this day, I haven't finished going through that whole list. There was like 350 people that submitted their information to get pre-approved. And now like that boat's kind of gone. Now it's something different because the resources are there. So I feel like I just hit something at the right time. And that's like another thing. You'll never know when your time is coming, or you know what I mean? Like you'll never know when you're gonna hit that next level. You gotta keep growing. And I wrote something down as Monica was speaking, posting, because nowadays everything's about instant gratification. Posting is instant, results are not. And that's what you have to be okay with. I know I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh shit, that's good. Let's write it down. So that, and then another thing that I'll just share, and then I'll let the next person take the mic. I heard someone say this and it stuck with me forever. Everybody talks about work-life balance, balance, and then I swapped the word to harmony. It's about harmonizing the things in your personal life and in business, and not balancing, like, because you're doing a balancing act. It can be super stressful. So trying to harmonize the two, you know, incorporating things together and then separating yourself when you have to get to that personal life. The last two things was you have to also realize and think about what level you're on right now in your business and only focus on that level. Because Monica was talking about the grind, the grind, the grind. I don't grind anymore because I've built that already. I grinded for 4 years. So I was like,
Same,
I'm done grinding. Like I'm done grinding. I now work with
same.
who I want to work with. I have a huge value proposition. So that's my next level. I think people are so focused on trying to skip levels, and that's where you can get a little bit messy. And then the last one is the platform thing. Something that Gary Vee said maybe 10 years ago, and this guy's right about a lot of stuff. He said, master one, then move on. Like you have to master the platform in and out, the algorithms, like what you're getting, your ROI for that, and then move on to something else because every platform works differently. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I took from Monica.
Gem after gem right there. That was huge. That was big.
And that's kind of what I want people to understand is that, you know, I'm on the same boat, Jose. If I want to grind, I can. I know that when I grind, I will freaking absolutely kill it. But I'll also, you know, my ultimate goal is my freedom. It's not money. It's not monetary. It's being able to have freedom. Obviously, I need the money. Obviously, you know, but would I prefer, like, as long as I have enough money to give me the freedom, I'm good. You know, as long as everything that I want to do when I have the freedom, I have enough money for, then I'm fine. But if I'm not there yet, then I am going to grind. I'm going to grind until I have the freedom and the money to be able to do the things that I want to do.
That's the I guess guilt that some of us feel is that if we say we're not grinding, are we failing? But that's not
Right.
it. Like it's the levels. For example, you're trying to get the freedom right now where now you're probably delegating a lot of your business or you're
Absolutely.
still busy. I had one dude ask me, hey, are you still selling real estate? Because I didn't post. I'm like, yeah, like we're at like 15 transactions right now. Like, but again, people now have that perception of you if you've made your thing social media based, right?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. So just don't get
And I
lost in all that.
I have learned that too, where sometimes I have to not post if I'm out too much or on vacation too much, because then people think you're not working. So when I am on vacation, I'm like repurposing old, you know, posts about work or whatever at the office, because people want to see you grind and people connect that way too. People are like, oh, this person's always working. I want to give them some business. I want to give her business. Da, da, da. So you just have to learn how to use it. And hey, you can like be on vacation, you can do whatever you want, you can have freedom, but you have these platforms that are going to be working for you, which is the beauty of it. And it always happens that when you're on vacation, you get the busiest, you get the most amount of work. For whatever reason, everybody wants to call you, which, hey, that means I just need to go on more vacations to make more money. So I don't mind.
I feel like I want to add something to what both of you guys were just talking about a moment ago. And you said you want to work towards your freedom, and I strongly agree with that. I also think that as individuals, we have to define what freedom looks like for each of us.
Absolutely.
You have to think of what that end goal is going to be. A lot of people get stuck in this real estate space and they think that top producer closing 500 units a year, just because that's what the culture of real estate develops. But you have to get really comfortable. Identify, what does your freedom look like? Does your freedom look like 3 listings and 1 buyer per month? Does it look like 2 listings and 1 buyer per month? Are you okay earning $10,000 to $20,000 per month? Then identify what that looks like and then reverse engineer it. What you don't want to do is you don't want to say my freedom looks like I want to travel all over the country and 500 deals. And have you counted the cost? Do you understand what it takes to get there? Do you understand how much you have to give up to get to that level? It's not easy. There's been so many sleepless nights where I couldn't be with my kids, where I couldn't go to vacations, where I couldn't hang out with my wife. There's been months where we didn't go on date nights. So many things that I had to give up to get to where I wanted to get to. And there was a sacrifice. Remember, there's no get without a give. If you want something, you got to give something up. I had to give up my sleepless nights, my weekends, friendships, relationships. I had to give up the old version of myself to get to this point where I'm at today. I had to say, no more smoking weed, no more drinking alcohol, no more being fat, no more being this, no more dressing, none of that. I had to change everything. I had to evolve to this next person, because the freedom that I wanted was, I wanted a certain level of income. I wanted a certain level of education and options for my kids. I wanted my wife to be a full-time stay-at-home wife, which she agreed to. She wants to do that. I'm like, okay, well then what's that income goal? What is my income goal that's going to allow me to do that? And I'm going to work towards that point right there. So I'm sharing that because I don't want, when I first got into the real estate space, one of the biggest mistakes I made was wanting to be the big dog on campus. I wanted to pound my chest. I wanted to be a top producer. A lot of it came from like insignificance and ego and masculinity and all that stuff. But when I got there at Century 21, I was there for 4 years of my career. I love the company, love the owner, love the founder. I was there for 4 years. I got to the highest level in 4 years. I went from Centurion to double Centurion to Grand Centurion. I hit the highest level of accolade in the company. But let me tell you something, I lost my sanity in the process. I wasn't sleeping. My marriage was in shambles. I had earned 1.3, 1.4 million. I didn't grow to the leader I was supposed to be. I didn't read the books. I didn't go to the seminars. And I was just hustling. Looking back at it, I wish I would have spent more time on leadership, how to grow as a person on the inside to get to that point. There were so many things looking back at it, but then I think to myself, do I want that again? Because now I'm in a new season of my life with my kids and with my wife and my business that I love it. I love being able to invest the time that I have in my children. So I'm just sharing this with you guys more as an open dialogue, that identify what that freedom looks like. Look what that money goal looks like to you, and then reverse engineer it. The true definition of success, if someone were to ask me, how do you define success? I define it with 2 words: peace and happiness. Are you at peace with your decision, and are you fully, genuinely happy? If you're happy and you're at peace, you're good. You're far ahead of everyone else.
Absolutely.
To touch on that, Gabe, so I had another agent, brand new agent, and sometimes I have to watch how I talk. Even this conversation, it's great, but the reality is a lot of these agents are brand new agents and they don't know where they're going to get their next deal from, right? So they're not on the same wave that we're on. So I had another agent, because I do preach this way. She was like, you know what? You're right. I need to spend time with my family. I need to do this. I need to do that. But then in the interim, she's like, I have no money. I have no deals. I have a couple of clients that, they said they're going to come back next month. And I was like, hold on. Wait a minute. Maybe you misinterpreted what I do or what I'm doing. Girl, you're brand new. You have, you have less than 5 deals under your belt. Like, you cannot do that. I'm sorry. Your kids you have to have a tough conversation with your kids and tell them that, hey, for the next 2 years, I'm on the grind and I need your guys' help. You have, sure, make time for them. But if you are not at that point where you can leverage your platforms or systems, you don't have to be social media based, but you just have to have systems, right? And for a lot of us, I think for the majority of us here on the screen, we leverage our platforms, social media platforms, but there's a lot of companies where they have systems and they don't even have to be in their business and they're making business, right? And they're not even on social media. But for us, we're all social media based. I told her, I said, listen, this isn't how you do it. You don't, the business, because I was like, the business will come. Well, the business isn't going to come if nobody knows who you are. The business isn't going to come if you're not on social media or if you're not anywhere, right? If you're not promoting yourself, like, how is the business just going to come for you? So I have to also let you guys know that, like, you need to grind it out. You need to have that conversation with your family for the first couple of years. And those clients or those future clients or all of those contacts that you create and make within those first 2 years should be able to push you through the rest of your years, because you're also going to leverage creating content from all of the things that you're going to be doing, the open houses, the the door knocking, the cold calling. I was posting myself door knocking. I was posting myself cold calling. I was posting the conversations that I was having on the phone, and that would get people interested to want to start following me, to want to start asking questions. So you guys are going to have to put in that time if you haven't already, if you haven't grown your social media page, if you haven't mastered how to get a client, if you're not able to be like, hey, today I'm going to dedicate the whole week to work. And I know from what I already have, I'm going to be able to maybe open a couple of escrows or get 5 people pre-approved. I bet you Steve, Gabe, Jose,
Dave.
and Brenda.
You just call me Dave.
Yeah, I did. I liked it. Brenda, I'm sure if we said right now, like, hey, we have a contest and you guys are going to sit in a room, for 8 hours each day, and we're going to see who gets the most amount of clients. I'm sure you, like, if we literally sat in a room for 8 hours every single day and all we had was our computer and a phone and a tripod, I know we would get a shit ton of deals going on. Like, I know we would be like, shit, let's see who wins. May the best one win, right? And we're going to get some deals. But there's others that are like, wow, I mean, I don't have anything. I don't know how to make a video. I'm not consistent. I don't have the platform already, you know, created. I don't have any systems. Like, even if you put me in a room for 8 hours, I don't know what to do. So if you can't sit there and feel confident and say, hey, I'm going to go into the office today, and today I'm going to, you know, open up an escrow, or today I'm going to get some people pre-approved. If you really don't believe that, if you don't think you can do that, you can't. And you have to start somewhere. You have to start grinding, literally grinding, because there were years, my first few years, where I was coming home late. I wasn't seeing my family. I sacrificed it so that now I can be in the position that I am in. Also, I feel like us women who do have a significant other have it a little bit easier. I do give it to you guys as men who are head of the household, and you know, who don't rely especially on your partner's income, where it's mainly you guys have it a lot harder than I do, because I have a husband, Brenda has a husband, where we're probably not head of household, or you know, our income isn't everything, so you guys probably have to work a little bit more than we do. So also you have to understand those dynamics as well. Just like Gabe said, what is rich to you, or how much is actually being, what's more importantly, you know, like being happy. How much money do you actually need to be happy, to be able to have time, to have everything? So those are all things that you guys all want to consider as well.
And we have a couple of,
Guys,
go ahead, Brenda. We have questions in the chat, but go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to touch on something really quick, because I think for like what Monica was saying, like moms, even dads, single dads out there, it gets hard. So one of the biggest advices that I got, especially when I started in this business, my coach said, take your kids with you, make it something that you guys are building together. Tell them, we're going to go do the showing, and then after this, we're going to go get ice cream. We're going to go hit it here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Honestly, I think my 16-year-old, if I would give him a contract, that kid could put together an offer and go back and forth, because they listen to me on the phone. They're like, mom's on the phone, shh, you know, or mom's doing this. So make sure that, you know, involve your kids in what you're doing. And it was something that I was able to marry together, and to be able to be mom and to be present and to be all that, right? And then, yeah, you're right, Monica, a lot of the relief was thanks to my husband, and he's like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's do it. And you work on that dream, and then we'll build on that together. The goal at the end of the day here is to make sure that it's an involvement. I even tell my brothers, my mom and dad, one of the biggest things that I want to do is to be able to retire them. And even my husband to stop working so that he can come help me build this empire even bigger. And so that's one of the things. So I know it's hard to work-life balance, but if we make it a family thing, it becomes that sweet spot, and they get to see the behind the scenes. Oh shit, mom's like really doing her thing and killing it. And you're also setting an example. And the goal at the end of the day is to build those 3 boys to be able to go anywhere and sell a pack of gum to somebody that doesn't have teeth. You know, it just, that's the goal. And I tell them all the time, guys, right now, I'm not going to be readily available, but because I always resonate with Kobe Bryant, and they tell him that he was 4 games up, and he, you know, they were asking him, why aren't you celebrating? You almost got the championship, da, da, da. And Kobe Bryant said, why? Job ain't done.
Job ain't done.
Celebrating. And it's true. I'm not there yet where Monica and Jose are, but I will, because right now, job ain't done. And if you guys want to see me, you guys got to come work with me and do the grind with me, and let's do this together and let's grow together, you know?
Let's go. I think you talked a lot about what Jose was talking about earlier, harmonizing the business with your kids and your family. That's really cool. In light of time, we are coming up to the end of the hour, so I want to be respectful. We do have some questions in the chat, and I want to direct this question first over to Brenda, Jose, and Steve, if you guys can give us a quick answer. Maria asked, what has been the most challenging and rewarding thing about building a team? And we'll go off to Brenda first, and we'll go to Jose and Steve. If you guys don't mind just giving us a quick answer on that.
The most challenging part is to not feel like I'm failing them. But I think that comes with the reward of knowing that I have so much knowledge to be able to give them. And when I see Andrea succeeding, Frankie succeeding, Marbella succeeding, and Angelica succeeding, and telling me, I have a listing, I had this because of what you told me, that's the biggest reward. And to be quite honest, I see them truly an extension of my family, and I cannot wait to see them start their own team. But one of the biggest things is that I don't want to fail them as a leader. I want to be able to give them the tools to succeed.
Jose?
That's probably the biggest thing for me. Like, they obviously go to you and they joined your team because they look up to you. So that already carries a little bit of pressure of like their success is now on me. And I guess another challenging thing is just when you have agents at different levels, like knowing how one person can manage, speaking to an agent differently. The team meetings have to have things that feed the new agents, the more experienced agents. Like, it is game changer because it's not just me, myself anymore. And a rewarding thing for me is honestly seeing a lot of the relationships that formed within the team, like people that didn't know each other that are like hanging out on weekends. Now I'm like, that's cool because of the team. You guys met someone. It's just a small stuff like that for me that is a win, aside from the production, which is important as well.
Love it. Steve, talk to us, bro, because you're doing an awesome job with the team right now. I see the culture you're establishing.
Yeah,
Rewarding and challenging.
I would say the challenge is when it gets kind of big. Your team gets to a certain point where it's just growing faster than you expected, right? And then trying to keep that family feel in the team, because that's what I really like. I'm big on the vibe. So definitely reaching out to others to kind of, mastermind and figure out how to keep it like that. But yeah, and on the other hand, it's amazing to see how fast we're growing as a team, right? And that's like, I never thought like a year ago, like I would be in this position to have like almost 100 people on the team under my under me. So that's amazing. Just the feeling of that. Yeah.
Love it. Monica, rewarding and challenging part of building a team?
I think the challenging part is, kind of what Jose was saying, making sure that there's that everybody's growing and everybody's learning, but also if there is a bad seed, getting rid of it right away. Because I have unfortunately had to do that. And I read something where it says that a bad apple can reduce your other workers' production by 30%. And just because it's a negative person, basically a negative person can reduce the rest of the team's production by 30%, if not more. And someone that is better than others can actually increase production of others by a minimum of 15%. So I always want agents that are just positive agents, always supporting each other, always helping each other, and making sure that if there are any bad seeds, to just get rid of them immediately.
I'll give my my input on team building. I've been doing it now for about 4 years, and then we'll close up afterwards. I don't see any other questions on the chat. The most challenging part on team building is knowing, in my opinion, is the leadership aspect, the leadership skill, because you have to know, like Jose was saying a moment ago, you have different personalities inside of the group. That's a challenge in itself. The second thing, like Monica was talking about, you have to have those really difficult conversations when people aren't performing, when the attitude isn't correct, when it's affecting everyone else. And that's also a very challenging part. How do you handle conflict? How do you learn how to motivate? Because what might motivate one person on your team doesn't motivate someone else. What's their love language? How do they like to be appreciated? I made the mistake early on that I thought that buying gifts for the entire team, acts of service, gifts, I thought that was everyone's love language. I'm like, dude, I just dropped 500 on that belt. I just dropped 1,000 on that bag. I just did this. Like, we're crushing it. But really, some people just wanted quality time. Like, bro, let's go out to dinner. Let's connect as people. And I didn't learn all those things early in my career. That was something that I wish I spent way more time on, was leadership. So the challenging part was growing to the capacity. John Maxwell had something called the law of the lid. Basically what it states is you're the lid in your organization and your network. So if you don't grow quickly in terms of a leader, sales, production, marketing, you don't grow, your network can't grow beyond that lid, the law of the lid. And so wherever your lid is at, that's the capacity of the team will. And eventually what's going to happen is this. If your team catches up to your level of production, if your team catches up to your level of acquisitions, what you have in terms of a real estate portfolio, your leadership skills, your income, if your team is catching up to you, you will no longer be able to influence your team. You'll no longer be able to attract top producers and people who want to go into your organization. If you want to be able to attract and develop and build people up to high levels, you must become a person of high value, which means you must spend more time on developing yourself than you do on developing your business. Because if you don't develop, the business doesn't develop. If you don't develop, the team doesn't develop. And if they get close to you and they sense that they're making just as much money, their influence is getting closer to you, you can no longer influence them and you can't lead them at that point. And this is when you'll start to see teams break off at that point. So one thing I want to challenge all of you guys to do is get better at leadership, become the best version of yourself. But I can tell you the rewarding part is once you do that and you're able to pour from a place of wisdom into your team, into your network, when they have a challenging problem and you're able to remain cool, calm, and collected, and you can just give them wisdom that you know is true, tried and tested, and you see them apply it and it works, it's the most rewarding thing to be able to pour into someone else. They do it and they get a win. It's one of the best, and Brenda talked about it, it's one of the most rewarding feelings to ever get. So that's a challenging and rewarding thing for me. I'm going to pass it back. Yeah.
I know that we are a little over time and I know Jose still wants to do something, but from what I'm hearing everybody say is basically put in the work. And so for someone who is a new agent and for also someone who is a more seasoned agent and who has been at the top and who has been successful, but unfortunately they did not treat their business like a business when they should have. So now they're having to start all over, basically like a brand new agent, build everything up. What are some things that they have to be doing every single day with their past clients, with the clients that they're getting? Like rapid fire, whoever wants to answer, or if each of you can answer super quickly, what are the things that you have to be doing with leads?
I'll defer that over to Jose because Jose runs a really high level team and he had a final thought before we close out.
I guess I'll do the final thought first. Before I lose people, most of us after meetings like this was like even impactful for me. So I'm sure there's a lot of people here that see the value. A lot of us will get off this call and do nothing. And that is the mindset shift that I want before we finish this call is take something that you learned from this call, write it down and make it an actionable item. Something like, all right, this is something I took. I'm going to implement this and actually work on this, you know, or add this to my business or try this out. Not do nothing when you have so many people just giving all this valuable information. Second thing is, if you miss something, reach out to one of us with a specific question and we'll be more than happy to, you know, to answer that. So the rapid fire, super quick. I would say just take your time with clients. This is a separate thing. If you want to DM me, I wrote something down that we cannot fit here, but a mistake that I made my year that I did my most production, I'll share that later on if someone sends me a DM. Again, Jose the realtor, but take your time with a client and build relationships, build strong relationships. Whether it's a lead, whoever, don't rush the process. Take your time in building that relationship with that client. That is my one piece.
Love it. Steven?
Yeah, I wanted to say something really quick. Unfortunately, the call's like ending. I feel like we're just getting started, right? I wish maybe we can continue it another time or something. But I did have one point that I wanted to bring out. And as far as social media, everyone that's still on the call, you need to get outside of your comfort zone. So I think that's you won't see results. And I didn't really see results until I did that. So that's, we lost Gabe.
I'm still here, brother. I'm just making you the main spotlight. You're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So definitely get outside of your comfort zone. If you work with me and you're local and, you know, we're doing videos, I'm going to make you get outside your comfort zone. I'm going to make you put on a bandana. So when it comes to social media, get outside of your comfort zone. There's so many people on the team here. Collaborate, link up with each other. you know, hold each other accountable, push each other. Sometimes we need that little push to get outside our comfort zone. So that's what we're here for, support. I would definitely say, you know, someone on the call, reach out to them, meet up with them and shoot some content. But, you know, we always talk about collaboration. I would really encourage everyone to collaborate more. I want to see more collaboration. If anyone has a question on social media, definitely reach out to me. I do social media every day. I seen Monica said here in the chat, post daily. That should be one of your goals, to post daily. I post every single day. It's not going to happen right away, but eventually that should be one of your goals, to build up your content, build up your strategy, and be able to post on a daily basis. Let's get it.
All right, team. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all for being on today's call. Do me a huge favor and just reach out to all the team leaders that were on today's call. These are all team leaders of the Winner's Circle. This is the type of value every single Wednesday. So reach out to them. Thank them for everything. Monica, thank you for being a yes. Jose, brother, thank you for being a yes. Brenda, thank you for being a yes. Steven, thank you for being a yes, bro. Love you guys. Respect you. God bless you guys. So, all right, team. Go be productive and successful. Have a good day. Chat with you guys soon. Peace.